Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Sidus Space. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol SIDU. Located in Cape Canaveral, Florida, Sidus Space operates from a 35,000 square foot manufacturing assembly, integration, and testing facility focused on commercial satellite design, manufacture, launch, and data collection. The company's rich heritage includes the design and manufacture of many flight and ground component parts and systems for various space-related customers and programs. Please welcome its founder and CEO, Carol Craig. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Carol Craig. I'm the CEO and founder of Sidus Space, and thank you for joining me today to learn more about the exciting opportunities that we have ahead of us for our company. Just want to point you to slide 2 here, our safe harbor statements. Please take a look. And so Sidus Space is a space and defense as a service satellite company. We're focused on mission critical hardware manufacturing, multidisciplinary engineering services, satellite design, production, launch planning, mission operations, and in-orbit support. We operate a state-of-the-art 35,000 square foot facility in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and we're vertically integrated with our manufacturing, our assembly, integration, and our testing capabilities focused on those multiple space and defense as a service solutions, including end-to-end satellite support. Our mission is bringing space down to Earth with a vision of enabling spaceflight heritage status for new technologies while delivering data and predictive analytics to domestic and global customers. We're disrupting the market by developing an advanced hybrid 3D printed satellite constellation that combines multiple sensors to provide solutions to a large variety of customers and industries. The sensors, hyperspectral, multispectral imagers, use a wider slice of electromagnetic spectrum to reveal all kinds of details that are not visible to ordinary cameras. Everything has a different spectral signature, and even closely related materials, such as 2 types of the same mineral, can be distinguished from each other using these types of imagers. Along with our extensive experience in manufacturing space-rated hardware and components, our vision will be achieved through our satellite LizzieSat, the first of which is planned for launch by the end of this year. And this is the first of our planned fleet of satellites that will provide Earth observation and remote sensing solutions. So what we're really doing is building a space-based infrastructure that's capable of evolving and growing with our growing space ecosystem. It's our multi-mission satellite for a multi-mission constellation. We're proud to have over 10 years of industry-leading commercial experience. We've contracted with SpaceX to launch 9 satellites over the next 18 to 24 months. We have approval for a 100 satellite constellation through the International Telecommunications Union. Our facility is configured to allow production manufacturing capacity of 5 to 10 satellites per month. Our satellites have a 5-year design or shelf life, which is based on reliability, redundance, and radiation protection of our hardware. And lastly, our customer base exceeds over 40 companies and agencies, including NASA and other major space and defense firms. So a little bit about my background and how I founded Sidus. I have nearly 30 years of experience in aerospace, aviation, traditional space, and commercial space. Specifically, I have over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience running space and defense-focused companies. And in 2012, Sidus Space began operations as a spinoff from my first company, which was a government contracting firm. My 30 years of experience and knowledge base are now integrated into Sidus Space, and given this robust track record of success, developing and manufacturing satellites to aggregate much-needed database solutions for industry on Earth was a natural evolution, and we have no reason to believe that this will be any less successful than our prior endeavors. Our management team is uniquely experienced within the areas of space heritage, advanced technology, engineering, infrastructure planning, mission operations, and satellite telecommunications within both commercial and traditional space industries. They have the business acumen, technical experience, and knowledge to execute Sidus's vision. Our team's decades of experience, relationships, and understanding of the space industry provide us with an opportunity pipeline that allows for increased engagement for both our current and our future customers. So investment in the space industry accelerated since 2020, despite the geopolitical climate and the war in Ukraine. The small sat industry or spacecraft with a mass of less than 500 kilograms is expected to experience significant expansion and demand over the next decade, and we're starting to see that now. The demand from customers to partner with us on future satellite launches is very high, and it's only growing. It's estimated the total space economy will reach over $1 trillion by 2040, which is up from $370 billion in 2020. And space is not a vertical domain, but it's a pervasive one that crosses all industries, and that's really important. Sidus is well positioned to capture growth in this market. So the key message here is it's not if, but when. We're at an inflection point with space, and that applies to not only the number of satellites expected to be launched, but also space-based data. And space-based data can be used to provide actionable intelligence to benefit nearly every single industry on Earth. So let me take a little bit of a moment to dig into our business model, give a little more detail. As I mentioned, our mission is bringing space down to Earth. We're focused on lowering the cost, the timeline, and the operational barriers to space access for our existing and our future customers. We do this by offering full end-to-end solutions with the ability to support needs anywhere in between. We own, operate, and control the manufacturing and the operating of our satellite constellation. Born out of aerospace, defense, and government modernized manufacturing, our expert capabilities combine state-of-the-art knowledge, equipment, and facilities to deliver superior quality and high performance for critical missions. We start with providing quality in-house design engineering services from upfront analysis to integration, assembly, and test. We are AS9100 certified for engineering and manufacturing, which is important for supporting the space and aerospace industries. And that includes the ability to perform initial design concepts or provide recommendations to existing engineering from our customers. We handle all the licensing necessary for our space customers, including regulatory licensing with various agencies. And we organize the launch booking by coordinating with one of several trusted launch partners, and we provide the mission operations and application services once the assets or the satellites are on orbit. And lastly, we facilitate and handle the data transfer from orbit via ground station partners and Amazon Web Services to our customers through a number of platform options. While all of our offerings are critical to our business and an important part of our strategic plan, our in-house designed and developed satellites are key to the rapid growth of the company. The ability to provide space infrastructure and then subsequently data creates a rapidly scalable, high-margin line of business. We executed a multi-year, multi-launch agreement with SpaceX, solidifying them as our go-to launch provider through the beginning of 2025. SpaceX's Falcon 9 is the world's most reliable and frequently flown rocket that offers low-cost ride-share services. And the first planned launch under this agreement is expected to occur in the fourth quarter of this year. Our satellite is a 100-kilogram satellite, 220 pounds, about the size of a coffee table, which is different than many of our current competitors in the industry. In the past, satellites were much larger, and they required longer time on orbit to see a return on investment or break even on the cost to manufacture. And this shifted to a focus on smaller CubeSats, but that meant less functionality and less revenue per satellite. We designed our satellite with the future in mind, and we focused on what we believe is the most efficient, functional, and cost-effective satellite size. Our satellite has several differentiators from others in our industry. The structure of the satellite is lightweight, which means reduced cost and more available space for customer technologies and data-generating technologies. We have over 1/3 of the space on the satellite available for customer or Sidus revenue-generating sensors. LizzieSat facilitates efficient and flexible integration of customer technologies and sensors during production because of its modular design and because we manufacture it in-house. We use space-proven commercial off-the-shelf systems to reduce risk and shorten the planned production cycle to 12 months or less. And as long as we have our systems and our materials in-house, our satellite design and technology allows us to manufacture and assemble the satellite in less than 45 days, followed by 3 to 4 months of testing. And because of the size of our satellite and our design, we have the ability to integrate a suite of sensors of technologies, vice just one. This means more data, but also more valuable and higher revenue generating data. With more sensors and a larger coverage from higher resolution sensors, you can cover a broader area and support multiple industries and customers at the same time. We designed our satellite to be more reliable with redundant systems. It has a 5-year design life or shelf life, which is based on reliability of the hardware, and it means more revenue per satellite. Other discriminators include our design for propulsion, and then the ability to manipulate the satellite to collect high quality data by pointing directly at an area of interest with precision. And lastly, we have redundancy in the areas that make the most difference for critical functions, which is attitude control, communications, and power. And to reiterate another important distinction, we're implementing artificial intelligence in an edge computing environment with both hardware and software that will enhance security and the speed of data transfer. Our manufacturing facility is located in Cape Canaveral, Florida, near the Kennedy Space Center, and it has been for over a decade. We are currently in operation with a full suite of machinery and equipment, including everything needed for assembly, integration, and testing of satellites. Our facility is designed to scale alongside our business model while focusing on continued lowering of operational costs. An established yet flexible manufacturing facility means being able to implement shorter production cycles while maintaining strict quality standards that align with our decade of adherence to aerospace level AS9100 processes. We consider our organic growth and smart vertically integrated strategy to be superior in that it established an integrated foundation from day one, creating natural efficiencies. This strategy has created a production environment that's flexible for changing customer needs and allows us to build satellites with the right amount of functionality, redundancy, quality, and revenue generating capacity. As I've touched on already, what we're really doing is building a space-based infrastructure for the space ecosystem. Similar to the internet, we're creating a physical space infrastructure to provide our customers with access to space and the benefits of space-based data. The term constellation as a service has been used in the industry, but it's really a flexible infrastructure in support of space and defense needs. Our space-based data as a service offering, which is derived from output by the hyperspectral, multispectral, and other advanced sensors that I mentioned, provides solutions to multiple customers and industries through this multi-mission constellation and creates a high-margin, high-growth, recurring revenue model. Our satellite business model has been thoughtfully designed to provide low-cost and flexible solution. It enables us to accommodate a wide range of customer requirements while utilizing the minimum number of assets possible. This approach makes space accessible to those who were previously shut out before due to the complexity or the high cost of entry. And this flexible structure also allows us to cater to even broader customer base. And we plan to establish one of this industry's leading lower Earth orbit small satellite constellations with a focus on Earth observation and remote sensing for the multiple missions and customers. Our strategy also includes enhancing the capabilities of our satellite constellation continuously, expanding our international and domestic partnerships, and then broadening our analytics offerings to increase the value of the data that we deliver to our customers. Our satellite constellation and our hardware manufacturing capability are mutually reinforcing operating assets, resulting from years of heritage and innovation. So as we execute our planned launches for the LizzieSat platform, we are focused on providing accurate and reliable space-based data to our customers. Space-based data solutions are becoming increasingly desirable for non-traditional industries, from requirements for agriculture monitoring, yield prediction, health, supply chain management, to infrastructure production monitoring for energy, wind power, and oil and gas industries. Global commercial companies and governments are now fully realizing the value of spaceborne geospatial data. The problem is that many organizations are insufficiently resourced in terms of technology, skilled personnel, and funding to refine their own raw geospatial data into the answers that they require for their unique business cases. Customers require answers, not data. So higher autonomy in satellite operation and data collection is seen as a key game changer for the space systems market in the next decade, with a considerable number of agencies and startups focusing on bringing this edge artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms to space. And we're no exception. By deploying customer-specific onboard AI algorithms on our constellation, our customers will no longer require costly investments of their own custom technology or staff to get them the answers to their most pressing business questions. And additionally, our adoption of the AI ML onboard satellites includes radiation-hardened hardware working in tandem with the AI algorithm, which is a key technology differentiator among our competitors. So when it comes to data, just to provide some economic parameters related to this, each of our satellites is expected to transmit at a minimum 100,000 megabytes of data per day. And as a data point, depending on the sensor, 100 megabytes of data can be equated to a single advanced image. We believe that the revenue generated from high-value imagery ranges from $12 to $24 per image, sometimes more. And of course, the quality, quantity, and the frequency of the data helps determine where within that band of pricing will be successful. But with a projected raw cost of data around 2 cents per megabyte, we see an opportunity to build a high-margin, scalable business that can be easily and inexpensively modified as technology changes. So we're providing actionable, intelligent data through a deliberate selection of advanced sensors for global monitoring and insights that provides flexible and agile integration of those technologies. And this includes automated identification sensor tracking sensors, hyperspectral, multispectral SWIR, and veneer technologies. We're not limited to these sensors, however, and we're able to evolve with advancing technologies as they're developed. The hyperspectral, multispectral, SWIR, and AIS sensors in our constellation provide a platform for real-time data fusion on orbit as well as terrestrially, and have a higher value and an impact than a single satellite with a single sensor. These types of advanced imagery sensors have many applications, but at a high level, they can predict various mineral types commonly used in mining for mining exploration. Also, they can detect oil spills in detail for oil and gas and aid in the agriculture industry by offering predictive soil quality for mineral identification and chemical measurements. We have a pipeline of customers across a diverse range of sectors and purposes that include many of those that are shown on this slide. Our multi-sensor, multi-mission platform gives us a unique capability, and when combined with our artificial intelligence solutions, it allows us to get only the necessary data transferred down to Earth faster to provide critical insight for a multitude of industries that includes agriculture, commodities tracking, disaster assessment, illegal trafficking monitoring, energy, mining, oil and gas, fire monitoring, classification of vegetation, soil moisture and carbon mass, weather monitoring, and many, many others. Energy companies also can utilize advanced imagery to identify seepages, spills, and environmental damage, as well as monitoring general structural integrity of objects. And furthermore, it can actually simplify inspections in remote or harsh terrain areas. And lastly, Earth observation satellites allow monitoring of many different climate variables such as deforestation, pollution levels, rising sea levels, and greenhouse gas concentrations. Satellite monitoring of reservoir water levels or water sources can actually provide an early warning of potential shortages or supply concerns. So most customers are interested in near real-time data as opposed to continuous data. To ensure that data gets to our customers as fast as possible, Sidus has comprehensive LizzieSat ground and sensor coverage with over 20 sites placed around the globe to downlink each LizzieSat's data right after collection. With our approval for 100 satellites by the ITU, we can expect that we could potentially achieve near global coverage within a few years, but we believe that flexibility is key to long-term shareholder value. As the interest in predictive analytics or data trends grow, we believe that we can service this market need with fewer satellites on orbit than previously expected. This is due to the distinct differentiator of our platform, which is the flexibility of the system and our ability to evolve with the industry and stay ahead of our competitors by integrating the latest technologies. Sidus is building an industry-leading Earth observation infrastructure that reacts and grows with the space ecosystem. Our goal is to maintain our low overhead, but with an ability to evolve with the evolving ecosystem. Being able to rapidly address customer needs without requiring redesign of satellites or increased capital expense related to production operations is key to long-term success. Compared to other new space competitors, Sidus has a superior space product manufacturing resume, and this is what differentiates us from other satellite operators in the space ecosystem, one of the differentiators. Our experience with international and U.S. governments, NASA, major space and defense prime contractors like Lockheed Martin, L3 Harris, and Boeing guides our space and defense as a service strategy and our ability to service customers across the entire space domain. Our decade plus of space manufacturing heritage means we're supporting missions for all destinations in space, not just LEO, but the moon, Mars, and beyond. Sidus has a proud heritage with a track record of innovation and success. We have over 10 years of industry-leading and high-quality commercial, military, and government manufacturing experience, and we've been generating revenue over the last decade by providing engineering manufacturing for both commercial and traditional space industries. We have space qualification experience, a strong existing customer pipeline, and International Space Station heritage, along with other major space programs. We currently have IP related to not only our products, but also unique space-related applications, such as developing vertical takeoff and landing pad interlocking pavers using space dirt or regolith. Because space is a new domain, patents are really important milestones, and we continue to invest in patenting new products for all aspects of the space domain. As you can see, we have numerous customers and partnerships with leaders in the space industry and customers globally. Our customers include Blue Origin, OneWeb, Airbus, Department of Defense, Department of State, NASA, Collins Aerospace, Teledyne, Lockheed Martin, Bechtel, L3 Harris, and Sierra Space, to name a few. Our experience over the last decade has included all major space programs, but most notably, we supported the Artemis I program, which launched in November of 2022. We provided engineering and manufacturing hardware for the solid rocket boosters and core stage of Artemis, and also provided ground support for the rocket systems and facilities, mobile launcher, and the Orion capsule. We continue to build key relationships with customers in our mission-critical hardware manufacturing business, which included being selected for the manufacturing of propulsion plant team trainer panels for Bechtel plant machinery, and also by Bechtel Corporation to manufacture cables for the NASA Mobile Launcher 2. We were previously awarded a contract by Bechtel to fabricate custom cables and populate unique electronics cabinets supporting the launch control subsystem and ground special power subsystems for the SLS. And this is currently being executed in our manufacturing facility today. These significant manufacturing contracts represent a diversity and depth in capabilities that we believe translates to long-term value and growth in both space and defense industries. Looking ahead, our path to profitability is based on our ability to grow our diverse revenue streams. Two areas in particular provide what we believe to be significant opportunities. Our manufacturing as a service offering leverages our distinguished track record of success in supporting multiple large-scale U.S. government space programs, like I've previously mentioned, demonstrating our extensive industry knowledge and expertise. Our flight and ground heritage experience provides us with lessons learned that we believe positions us to avoid many of the challenges and issues that inexperienced companies experience during their initial phases of growth and operation. We announced last month that we've been selected by OneWeb to design and build machine satellite hardware for their broadband satellite internet services. This selection further demonstrates our space hardware manufacturing expertise and represents potential long-term growth based on the expected number of telecommunications satellites planned over the next decade. Our satellite manufacturing capabilities provide opportunities to build both customer-specified spacecraft and Sidus-designed and owned spacecraft. And our manufacturing facilities in Cape Canaveral include traditional machining, 3D printing, cable and wire harness assembly, and clean room operations as part of our ground infrastructure, which is what allows us to launch software, payloads, and dedicated satellite constellations for our customers that we own and manage on their behalf. Similar to our data and analytics services, our customers have the opportunity to subscribe to that data that's collected during orbit operations. Each of these areas and initiatives addresses a critical component of our end-to-end solution and value proposition for the space economy as a space and defense as a service company. The majority of the revenues to date have been from our space-related hardware manufacturing. However, 2022 and 2023 revenue includes revenue related to our multi-mission constellation and our hybrid 3D printed LizzieSat satellite. And it demonstrates the growth of our satellite manufacturing capabilities. We believe our business model presents a compelling investment opportunity for a variety of reasons. We have diverse and growing revenue streams as described, with over 10 years of mission-critical hardware manufacturing and continued growth, multidisciplinary engineering services, and the end-to-end satellite and space-based data services. Our planned high-margin product offering of actionable intelligent data, data analytics, and raw data is realized through a collect once, sell many model that's supported with recurring data subscription options and incremental growth from a growing customer base. We see a positive trend in the demand for low Earth orbit data due to the increased demand for uses beyond just images. New sensors and technologies like those that we're integrating into our satellite are focused on asset tracking, that spectral imaging, infrared detection, and they've opened up new opportunities for even more industries and markets to benefit from space data. And there's an improved ability to handle and store large amounts of data, along with a reduction in the time between data collection on orbit and distribution to customers. LizzieSat's designed for almost any mission with capabilities that serve civil, military, and commercial users. And this allows for greater flexibility and rapid configuration to suit multiple missions, that maximizing our revenue opportunities. Our existing infrastructure supports growth with fixed operating costs, providing significant leverage for scalability and low incremental costs to maximize our data analytics revenue offering. We are committed to keeping our overhead low and efficient in order to shorten our timeline to profitability. The opportunity we really see is in the ability to drive a market correction. The satellite market has been largely dominated by a few companies, which means higher costs to customers. But we understand the cost of space-based data, and we believe that lower, more realistic pricing to the consumer will result in a much larger market capture. This is a recap of our first quarter financial highlights. Our revenue increased to $2.3 million for the quarter ended March 31st, 2023, as compared to $1.8 million for the same period in 2022. That revenue growth of 26% is primarily attributed to an increase of 114% in our satellite revenue versus the prior year. As of March 31st, 2023, Sidus had $2.8 million in cash, and subsequent to the quarter, we raised gross proceeds of $11.2 million to support the acceleration of our LizzieSat constellation and capture emerging opportunities in the space domain. We also achieved several key milestones for the year to date. In the first quarter of 2023, we formed several new partnerships and announced new contract awards, in addition to nearly doubling contracted launches with SpaceX's additional transporter missions in 2024 and 2025. As we consider past and future revenue, we're excited about the additional satellite-related contracts that we executed in Q1 of 2023. Most notably, we were awarded a $2.5 million contract with the Netherlands Organization for Applied Scientific Research to deploy and test their laser communications technology on board a Sidus LizzieSat satellite. This contract and the relationships are part of our strategic plans and efforts to expand our international reach to capture significant global opportunities related to Earth observation and remote sensing. We announced our plans to open a new office in the Netherlands, and we're looking forward to completion of those plans within a few months. And additionally, we were awarded a follow-on contract for the next phase of NASA's autonomous satellite technology project, which we believe will provide us with a pathway for growth related to deep space missions. We continue to take meaningful steps toward the launch of our LizzieSat constellation, and we've accomplished additional key milestones and developments as we drive our mission of delivering space and defense as a service to both government and commercial customers worldwide. We're well on our way to achieving the vision of executing our strategic plan to build this space-based infrastructure that's capable of evolving and growing with our rapidly expanding space ecosystem, and therefore fulfilling our mission of bringing space down to Earth. We began LizzieSat integration and testing and completed command and data system testing, which validated the proper functioning of the communications and data transfer paths between our satellite and our contracted ground stations. And this communication verification is a critical requirement for mission success. We remain on track to deliver LizzieSat for launch later this year. And while the precise timeline is dependent on the small satellite launch vehicle industry and can be impacted by weather and unforeseen launch conditions, we continue to complete the critical steps that are required for integration and testing to adhere to the timeline necessary to meet our planned launch cadence. And as I've said before, capital to date has facilitated our ability to secure a steady launch cadence, and where practical, order additional components that are impacted by the supply chain delays, enhancing our speed to execution. As we get closer to launching multiple satellites and bringing our vision to life, we're even more dedicated to realizing the value creation case brought about by executing on the sale of both data and payloads. And we believe our stakeholders will benefit as revenue and margins increase over time as a result of our diverse revenue model. Having strong financial backing gives us the ability to accelerate and take advantage of opportunities. Our approach to spending is cautious, and we will continue to operate as efficiently as possible to reduce our burn rate. We truly believe that every dollar spent at Sidus goes farther than a dollar spent by our competitors, and we're committed to remaining lean even as we experience exponential growth. So to sum it up, we're optimistic about the future of our company as we've made progress on several key initiatives that we believe will position us for long-term success despite a challenging economic backdrop. The capital we've raised since the year began is important in accelerating our initial satellites in the middle of a disruptive capital and supply chain market. And as an established high-end space and defense hardware manufacturer with a first-wave advantage, we're excited to launch this advanced hybrid 3D printed satellite constellation with a focus on building a multi-mission space infrastructure for a diverse customer base. There is exponential growth opportunity with increased demand for remote sensing and Earth observation data from commercial customers, and creation of this much needed space infrastructure that can expand and grow with the evolving space ecosystem is critical and is important. Our confidence in our ability to execute on our vision is based on over a decade of commercial defense and government manufacturing experience, combined with a proven track record of success, space qualification experience, existing customers in pipeline, and heritage hardware. Years of support for U.S. government contracts has provided us with a foundation and experience to understand the industry's strict regulations, procurement process, administrative requirements, and other nuances of working with the U.S. government, and specifically the Department of Defense. We believe that we will have multiple opportunities to expand our government and commercial support into higher margin area of satellite design, development, and on-orbit operations, and we are excited to demonstrate our capabilities to multiple agencies. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for joining us. Please get in touch with me or my IR team for further information, and I'll now hand this back to our moderator for the Q&A session.
Perfect. Great job, Carol. Thank you for this. Let's talk about the capital you recently raised. Congrats on that. So will this capital support the 9 launches that you've reserved?
Right. I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, our focus in the short term is to successfully launch our first satellite on schedule by the end of the year, but we're in an advantageous position since we already have the 9 contracted launches with our partner SpaceX. So right now, all of our resources have facilitated our ability to secure that steady launch cadence, and where practical, order those additional components that are impacted by the supply chain delays, and that's going to enhance our speed execution. So as we get closer to launching the multiple satellites, we're even more dedicated to realizing this value creation and what we've created in our diverse revenue model. Having that strong background, like we mentioned, gives us the ability to accelerate those launches and take advantage of the opportunity. One more time, I'll just say it, but we really do believe that every dollar spent at Sidus goes further than a dollar spent by our competitors.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So clearly there's nearly infinite uses of space-based data. So are there specific industries you're targeting? And what is your go-to market strategy for conveying the value of what you're offering to them?
There are so many industry verticals that need and want the data capabilities of our satellites. Obviously, military and government are currently the biggest consumers of space data, but corporations in the energy, agriculture, vertically integrated technology, transportation, and communication industries will likely be first movers in our industries. I've mentioned it a few times, but demand currently exceeds availability in this industry. There are not yet enough satellites currently in orbit or in preparation for orbit to meet the high demand of these industries. So it's a great position for us to be in. If you consider agriculture, it's one example, our satellite can provide farmers with detailed information on crop health, soil moisture, weather patterns, and then this information can be used to optimize crop yields, reduce the use of water and fertilizer, allows farmers to make more informed decisions, and then that flows on downstream to beneficiaries as well. So in addition, we continue our discussions with corporations and governments, educating them on the benefits of space-based data. And we are very optimistic that we will continue to execute meaningful contracts that we believe will result in substantial revenue growth for the company. Customer education is vital. It's part of it. Being in an emerging industry, we're not competing over pricing necessarily, but rather educating the customers on the benefits of our systems.
Fascinating. Well, Carol, as it relates to the revenue profit profile of the company, you've referred to the diverse revenue streams investors can anticipate. So what sort of mix of revenue can investors expect over the long run?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that before. We have a diverse and growing revenue streams that I talked about. And this came out of the last 10 years of mission critical hardware manufacturing, engineering, the end-to-end solutions of our satellites. And this is what's prepared us for our next phase, which we'll see occurring toward the end. We expect to occur toward the end of this year. Our planned high margin product offering is what we'll be seeing, and that's realized through that collect once, sell many model and the data subscription options and the incremental growth. But the majority of our revenues to date, although they have been from space-related hardware manufacturing, are changing. So 2022 and 2023 revenue included revenue related to our multi-mission constellation and our hybrid 3D printed satellites. And I think it truly does demonstrate the growth of our satellite manufacturing capabilities. And we will see that continue to grow over the next couple of years.
So with all the hype around AI and your planned integration of edge computing, how can the space economy benefit from all these technological advances?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's really important. I think the movement towards AI is real. It's here and it's in our industry. And with our technology, it's no different. Really, the possibilities are endless, but particularly related to data processing, when you combine that with edge AI, our multi-sensor, multi-mission platform allows us to get the necessary data down faster. So we can provide that critical insight for all those industries near real time. And that's going to include all the industries that I've mentioned before, whether it's agriculture or fire monitoring, or it's energy, mining, oil and gas. Historically, many industries have operated based on past experience and know-how. However, there are increasingly more and more factors that are affecting how quickly things can change. So they really need those data analytics and predictive technologies to help them plan for the future. And that's where we're going to be able to support that with our edge AI and our machine learning software, both our hardware and our software solution.
Well, a follow-up from that, you've mentioned several different technologies that you're integrating into your satellite. So what differentiates each?
Sure. So we offer a suite of sensors for global monitoring and insights, and we do that to actually deliver relevant and really high quality data, which is different in some respects. This includes, I mentioned before, automated identification sensor tracking sensors, hyperspectral imagers, multispectral imagers, and visible to near infrared and shortwave infrared sensors. These types of imagers, along with the infrared sensors, use a wider slice on electromagnetic spectrum. I mentioned this before, that give you all kinds of details that are not visible to ordinary cameras or in your traditional imagery. And everything out there has a unique spectral signature, and even really closely related materials such as two of the same type of minerals can be distinguished from each other. So that's really what the difference is, whether it's a different type of sensor for tracking assets or it's that hyperspectral. That's very different than what we have seen in the past when they've looked at just traditional imagery.
And do you already have customer agreements in place for the first satellite launch?
Yeah. So this is a unique advantage of our model and I guess a testament to the high demand that we're seeing for our technology. As we start to build and prepare for launch, we already sell some of the real estate or the space on our satellites. And as you may have seen from our news releases, we've continued to form several new partnerships. And we recently announced new contract awards in addition to doubling our contracted launches with SpaceX. And as we look at going forward, and then you talk about the customer agreements that are in place, we're excited about the additional satellite contracts related to what we executed in Q1. And one of those is the $2.5 million contract with the Netherlands organization. So again, we've got a number of customers that are already in place for the first satellite, but also we're looking past that and contracting with our customers for the next 18 to 24 months out.
That's great. And last question for you, Carol. What differentiates Sidus Space from others in the market?
So I mentioned that before. There are a number of differentiators, but I think it starts at the foundation. So compared to our new space competitors, we have a superior space product manufacturing resume. We've been doing this for a long time. We manufactured mission critical hardware for a number of customers, all the big players in that industry. So the differentiation, when you're working with international or US governments, NASA, the major primes, you really get to understand the importance of quality and ensuring that what you are manufacturing is a high level quality product. So we're vertically integrated with that, over a decade of space manufacturing heritage, but also what differentiates us is that we already have supported and we're continuing to support all those destinations in space, not just lower Earth orbit, but the moon, Mars, and then beyond.
Wonderful. I think that's a great way to end this presentation of yours. Thank you so much. What a great update, and continue on with this great work.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. All right, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back with our next presenter.